Going on, everybody? Welcome back, Dudes Who Bet Daily, February 15th, 2022. Happy 23, geez. Happy belated Valentine's Day to everybody, and happy belated Super Bowl as well. Kind of a fun game there. 38-35, definitely went over. So hopefully everyone listened to us instead of Magic on that point. And unfortunately, Aaron, we had a missed field goal that cost us 2 bets.
Yeah,
that wasn't very fun.
Sucked. We handicapped it perfect. We said, yeah, they'll kick a field goal. We even said they'll kick one in the 40-yard range, and that's what it was. And so, yeah, if he makes that, our prop bets both cash, and he missed it, so what are you going to do? But, yeah, that little field goal cost us the props, but it was nice to be on the right side of it. At the end of the day, you want to pick the Super Bowl winner if you're on here talking about sports 5 days a week. We've all did, and so that was good. And so, yeah, the field goal, hey, we capped it right. He just missed it.
Pop, dude, what do you think about the Super Bowl this year? What were your takeaways?
Oh, it was a great game. It really was. We got what we wanted. I think the big winner in this is Jalen Hurts. I think now he's legit. He was fantastic. Unfortunately, he did have the turnover that was the difference in the game when you get right down to it. But it was a great game. The thing I've noticed about the Chiefs this year, and it's at almost all levels of football, you want the ball last. You want to be able to run the clock out to where the other team has very little chance. I think the Chiefs are the best at that. In fact, we were texted, and I said when they got the ball back with 5 minutes, let them run a minute off and then let them score because they're going to do it. But, I find something kind of interesting that to talk about here for just a second. I was thinking about this as they were making that final drive. What was it, about a minute and a half to go? They made a run, and the Eagles were going to let them score, right? Yep. And the running back went down, took a knee on the 2-yard line, which everybody thought was smart. What if the kicker had missed the field goal? How smart would that have been then? And this is where players make a coach brilliant. Yeah. There's a lot of things that can happen on a field goal. A bad snap, a blocked kick. They were slipping all over the field that day. The kicker could have slipped. He scores the touchdown, gets the extra point. You got a 7-point lead with a minute and a half to go. The other team's going to go for 2. There's no doubt in my mind the Eagles would have went for 2.
Yep.
Yeah. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's just kind of something to think about, sometimes, I mean, I would have done the same thing. Don't get me wrong. I think it was a brilliant move, but what if he missed the field goal?
You got to go down there, though.
I agree.
You would so much rather kick the field goal and leave 8 seconds on the clock than score and leave, because the field goal from the 2 should be like 98%, right?
Exactly. I agree with you.
If you go in there, you got to think that's about a 65%, 70% chance the Chiefs win the game. So your probability is so much higher. And the other part, if you do miss the field goal, at least there's no time on the clock.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's the cost is not the game. Whereas if he scores, I agree with you. They go for 2. And I would say it's a plus pot chance that Philadelphia gets that 2-point conversion if they are able to score as well.
Yeah.
Sylvain brings us right up. This obviously a huge topic, right? The holding call. Interesting point here, just because, Papa, dude, you brought this up. Why in the world did you hold there? You'd rather they score the touchdown than you hold, because the worst possible thing you could do is get called for that penalty, because then you do end up in this situation where they're able to run the clock all the way down. Even if McKinnon doesn't bust that run, they're still running that clock down to 8 seconds. It's just a longer field goal. The worst thing you could do is hold there. And he admitted, Bradbury said after the game, I did hold him. I don't think it was as ticky-tack as everyone else did. It was pretty clearly a penalty, and Mahomes threw the ball to the guy intentionally to show that they were holding him. So it's one of those flags you're going to see the majority of the time when you tug the jersey and then the hip. So to me, the thing, you just don't hold him. You let him score there if he's going to score. You saw them try and let them score the very next play, and I get it. It was 3rd down, all that jazz. But again, I would much rather, if I'm the Eagles, you don't hold them. Even if they complete the pass and score the touchdown, you're down 7 with 1:50 left in a timeout. That's a much better scenario than anything else that happens if you do hold them, right, Aaron?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely right. And to me, guys, I think Mahomes, like you just said, saw the hold, saw there was nothing open, and said, I'm going to take a shot with it. Because if you watch the replay back immediately after he throws the ball, pointing, that it's a hold, so he saw it. He absolutely saw it. And you're right. I mean, it was a situation where that is the absolute nightmare, worst thing that could happen to you.
Yeah.
And it, worse than, like you said, letting them score. And guys, if they score and make it 42-35, I would have put money on the game's going to end 42-41 or 43-42 because there was so much time left on that clock. So it was unfortunate that a great game got quote unquote ruined by that call. It was the correct call though, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. You have this in back-to-back Chiefs games now where you have the push out of bounds, which, by the way, was a penalty. Like, I don't know how you're not supposed to call that, right?
Yeah.
And then you have this hold, which also was a penalty. The Eagles admitted, hey, yeah, we held him. Yeah. It was a penalty. The one argument I've heard on the other side, which I think is legit, is that they did not call that all game, but I didn't see any that were that egregious all game in open space. I think that was the other key part of it, right? Where that was just a very easy one to see. So it's hard to let that go in that spot when you can tell that someone is trying to pull.
They missed one pass interference, I think, in the game early. Other than that, there really wasn't a lot of missed calls in this game. I didn't feel like there was one on a third down, and oddly enough, what it would have been against the Eagles if they didn't call. But yeah, I mean, it does come into the debate. Hey, it's the last 2 minutes of the game. Should a penalty be called? Unless it's got to just be a terrible penalty, or they don't call it. And that is a debate you can have for sure. You see that hockey, you see it in basketball. Kind of got to murder somebody those last 2 minutes to get a foul called or get a penalty called. I get that side of it. By the letter of the law, he definitely held, and they call that a lot in the NFL.
They do. And he was right out there in the middle. There was no one around. You talk about they shouldn't have held. Man, you got to be pretty smart. You're trained to stop whatever you can as a defensive back. I'm saying it's just a natural instinct to do that, to reach. You say, oh God, I'm beat. I got, you know what I'm saying? It's one half dozen the other. You've got to give the Chiefs credit for running the ball, moving the ball like they did the second half. They never were stopped.
Yeah, Mahomes goes 13 for 14. They score every single possession in the second half. That is why Philadelphia lost the game, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mahomes went 13 for 14, scored every possession in the second half.
I got to know.
Sorry. One more thing we got to mention. And far and away, that's the lead, right? The Chiefs scoring. The Chiefs stopped them in the second half. Other than one bust, and it was a bad bust, the Chiefs really slowed them down after not slowing them down in the first half.
Right. And the fumble killed them. That was that happened way back in the early part of the game. The Eagles were dominating the game. They were dominating, and that was such an easy pick up and run it in. Don't forget the punt return.
Yeah, That was a killer.
That was a killer right there, a huge play. One other thing, and I'm not saying it was the wrong move by the Eagles coach. Remember when it was 24-21? I think it was 4th down and 5 when they kicked the field goal to make it 27-21. That kind of went against everything they had done all year. I thought they would go for that. I kind of thought they would. Didn't you guys?
We talked about it, didn't we, Somich?
Yeah, that 4th and 5. And also, Doc brings this point up, too, which I thought was even more odd. 3rd and 3 from their own 32. The first time on 3rd down and short, they throw the football and then punt it on 4th down. They could have run 2 sneaks there and they would have picked up the first down without any doubt in my mind, right? Yeah. And so then that was the punt, Papa did, which you mentioned, where the terrible punt, a line drive essentially. Chiefs are able to make a big play on the return, get it all his way inside the 5, go up 8. I mean, that was obviously another huge moment in the game there. I do want to quickly – I want to say one more thing about the penalty. Mm-hmm. If you don't call that penalty – and the Chiefs kick a field goal on the next play and Philly go down and scores a touchdown to win the game, it's as big of a blown call as any there's been in the Super Bowl. So that is also important that you have to at least mention that part of it as well. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't call it and the outcome is completely changed by it, it's as bad as if you call it a penalty that's a phantom penalty and the outcome is completely changed by it.
I do disagree with that, because if you don't call it, there's still a million opportunities, chances for it to happen. If you do call it, the likely outcome is 95% in the bag. That's the difference. I agree that it's a missed call, but still, you kick a field goal, you kick it, they're at the 25, you've got a million chances to stop them. Maybe they kick a field goal and then you win in overtime. Like a million things could have happened if they don't call it.
True, but the win probability still swings from about 60% Chiefs to 95% Chiefs instead they're swinging it back down to like 55% Chiefs instead of 95% Chiefs. So it still has a massive edge on the win probability side. I do want to quickly address Sylvain's direct question too. Do you think the referees have too much result to bet anymore? I think that since betting has become involved, people realize more of these key calls that happen as well because they have money on it. It's the same thing in horse racing when you see an objection or an inquiry and people just bash whatever side it is because they bet one of the two sides. Yeah. And so people are much more vocal when they have money on the line than when there wasn't money on the line, when it was just watching it for enjoyment. So I don't think there's been a drastic change in the NFL refereeing over the last 3 to 4 years. I think people are more aware of it because they're betting money on the game.
I think you're right.
To me, it's part of the variance, right? You're going to get screwed. You're going to get the benefit of the doubt. Some of these times it should equal out to about 50-50. But to me, I don't think the referees are making more of a difference in games today than they did 4 or 5 years ago. It wasn't good 4 or 5 years ago either.
Totally agree. Agree.
I think another thing we're kind of taking a little bit for granted, and you guys are young. I remember the day before we didn't have all these camera angles on all of these replays. We didn't have all this slow motion technology we have. And we're seeing these plays scrutinized so much that has affected the way we look at officials too. You know, used to, we didn't have any of this stuff, or they might have one camera angle. Now they got 500 camera angles and they're on full display. And I think they do a pretty good job, really, when you consider everything that's scrutinized on them now.
I've refereed one game, actually was an umpire for a slow pitch softball game. It was hard, not gonna lie. It wasn't easy, man. I think the number of people who've never reffed a game at any level, I'm talking about like a sign-up league in Burbank, California on a Sunday afternoon, slow pitch softball, and I thought it was tough to do. It is not an easy job on any level.
You know, I used to this was before Aaron came along. I did some umpiring, high school baseball. Actually, it wasn't high school baseball. It was in the summer league stuff. And I loved home plate umpiring. You know where I got in trouble? On the freaking bases.
Yeah.
That's where the close calls were.
Yeah, bang calls. And it's hard to see. Did he slide under a tag or this?
Yeah. Oh, I hated them. I would, read umpire with another guy, and there was 2 game nights. And we were supposed to switch off. And I said, hey, I'll just do both games behind the plate. You can have the bases. I don't want it up there. You got the mask on, I think, too. And they can't really, they'll yell at you for balls and strikes sometimes, but not too much. But man, you're out there in the open on those bases when you blow one.
Yep.
I got to say, the biggest surprise for me, Shotty called it out here. Purple Gatorade at plus 100. The Chiefs pulling out the purple for the Super Bowl was not anything that I expected. So that was absolutely wild there. And Sylvain also chiming in here. Got to give credit to Andy Reid. Phenomenal career for him. This basically cements Mahomes, Reid, and Kelsey all as Hall of Famers.
No doubt.
It's kind of crazy because we're 5 seasons into Mahomes' career, and he could retire tomorrow, and he is in the Hall of Fame. Pretty phenomenal there. All right, we're about 15 minutes in here, so let's jump into some games for today. It was a fun Super Bowl, man. I'm just happy it was a close game, a great game. And Jalen Hurts was phenomenal. I did not think he would be as good as he was, and he was absolutely phenomenal as well. So excited to see what happens there next year, although Philly's got a lot of free agents. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when they have to pay Hurts as well. Let's jump into the NBA here. We got Cavs heading into Philadelphia, taking on the 76ers. The 76ers laying 1.5 here. Total sitting at 216.5. Pop Dude, we'll start with you. Who do you like here?
Oh, thanks a lot. This one is tough. Oh, man. Both teams playing great right now. They really are. I'm going to go with the Sixers because they're at home. Basically, let's see, 216.5. That's 110 to 110, somewhere around in there. That seems I don't know. That may be a little low. I don't know, but the Cavs don't play real well on the road. And I'm going to go with the Sixers, providing everybody's healthy. I'm assuming they are, or this line would be different. This is a big-time game, though. The Sixers are really playing well at the moment. They're making a run at the Celtics. So I'm going to go with the Sixers because they're at home.
Yeah, Sixers are playing very well at home right now. And the Cavs have struggled on the road all year. I'm going to agree with you, Papa Dude. Because it's a home game, we're only laying 1.5. Give me the Sixers as well. I would kind of lean toward the under here. Philly likes to play it slow, and Cleveland can play some defense as well. So I would tend to lean to the under, but I would actually bet the Sixers. Aaron, any bets here?
Sixers. I think they get it done tonight. I like them at home, and I would go over the total. So we'll see who wins that battle.
All right, let's head to a game that I think is going to be really interesting. You get the Mavs heading into the Nuggets. The Mavs have been awful on the road this year, but now you have Kyrie Irving introduced. However, they are 0-2 with him and Luka both in the lineup. Nuggets laying 4.5, total sitting at 233.5. Go back to you, Aaron. Who do you like here?
I'm going to take Denver in this game. I think they're just the more complete team, the more in sync team at the moment. I still am not giving up on Dallas. I think they'll gel at some point, but I'll take Denver tonight.
Yeah, Kyrie and look, I'm not going to fall for this. Kyrie and Luka look phenomenal together. I'm not like at some point something's going to happen with Kyrie and it's going to be a train wreck. But man, it's fun right now to watch those two play together, isn't it, Papa Dude?
Yeah, breaking news: Kyrie having trouble adjusting with another teammate. That's a strange situation. Yeah, I've never heard of this before. But they have lost 2 games. They might look good together, but they've lost 2 games. I agree with you. I think eventually they'll get going. Nuggets are tough at home, and I don't care if they were playing good. I'd take the Nuggets. So I like them tonight to beat the Mavs.
We'll sweep that one. I'll take the Nuggets as well. I just don't want to lay it. I don't trust the Mavs on the road at all. They've been awful all season on the road. All right, one more game because this was almost my best bet of the day. The Rockets heading into Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder, laying the 10.5. You know I would be playing the Thunder here because I hate the Rockets. The Thunder can put points up. I kind of like the over here too, Aaron. So give me the Thunder and over 234. What do you like?
I'll go with you on that one. The Thunder really can score. They've got a lot of guys that can put it in the hole. So I'll take the Thunder here as well. It's kind of a situation. The Rockets upset them at home a few nights ago. Well, that's a couple of weeks ago now, I guess. Then the Thunder came back and just dominated them in Oklahoma City. So give me the Thunder. I don't think they overlook them tonight. I think they get the job done.
Papa Dude?
Well, I don't like the Thunder when they play teams like this. I just don't. I like the over for sure. Here's the deal. How many times, Aaron, have they had a chance to get to 500? Now, Tonight is not a chance to get to 500, so that's good.
Yeah.
They should dominate them. I watched the game a lot when they played New Orleans. What was that, Monday night, I guess?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they played pretty well. They just couldn't get over the hump. The Thunder are close to really being a good ball club.
Yeah, they just don't. They're missing 1 or 2 guys, and that's what happens.
They don't have any size. They don't have anything.
No.
They don't have any size.
They will next year with Chet coming back.
Yeah.
I don't think I touched the line. I think they win, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to blow them out or not. I don't know.
All right, let's head to the ice. Going to look at one game here. We got the Rangers minus 190 heading in to take on the Canucks, who've really struggled since trading Bo Horvat. They're plus 165 tonight. Total sitting at 6.5. This was almost my best bet as well. I had 4 games. I almost had best bets. Well, 3 games and a horse. We'll get to the horse in a second. I would play the 1.5 for the Rangers here. They're just way better. I think they are going to win this game big. Give me 5-1, 5-2, something like that. So I like the Rangers quite a bit tonight. Aaron, you're nodding your head.
We should have took this because I had between 2 bets tonight, and this was one. Rangers minus 1.5. It's plus 120. The Canucks have tanked it. I don't see them coming back. A lot of these underdogs you're seeing, like the Ottawa Senators, for an example, they're still fighting, man. They're still playing hard. They're a young team. They're energetic. You go into Vancouver, and it's like they've quit. And so I'm with you. I almost took Rangers minus the 1.5. I just hate laying a 1.5 in the NHL. I'd much rather play an underdog that I think could play well and is going to rise up and play well. That's not the Canucks. I'm going Rangers minus that 1.5 as well.
Yeah, they beat the Canucks 4-3 in Madison Square Garden 4 games back. They're on a 5-game winning streak, and this team has just filled up the nets since Tarasenko got there as well. Not saying it's because of Tarasenko, but there's some extra juice in that locker room, right, Papa Dude, when you grab someone like that?
You bet. When you get a player like that, it tells the other players, hey, we're going for it. We made this trade. It gives you that little bit of, like you said, juice in that locker room. And at this time of the season, you need that. And the Rangers are really good anyway. I like the pick of minus 1.5. They should blow them out.
All right, let's head to the race of the day here, where I almost had a best bet as well. Race round number 8 at Gulfstream Park. We're going 5 furlongs on the turf course. Really interesting race here. A lot of different horses coming from different levels. You've got the inside horse, Miss Domineering, coming in. She was running an allowance last time out. And you've got the 3, who I think is really interesting. Favorites are sitting on the outside. Aaron, where did you go on top here?
I like the 3. You mentioned the 3. I like this 3 horse, Miss Sakamoto, here today. That's what I put on top, 5-1 morning line. Ran an allowance last time out over the synthetic. Ran well, got third, only beaten a length. 2 races back, a starter allowance at the Meadowlands. Got third, only beaten a length and 3/4. Really consistent horse, running third off the bench here for Christophe Clement. I like Tyler Gaffleone riding for him. They usually do pretty well when Gaffleone rides for Clement. So I took a shot at 5-1 here with the 3 horse. I like this horse today.
Good pick. This is almost my best bet of the day. I think the 3 is by far the best horse who's going to be close to the pace in this spot. I think has a really good shot of sitting just a dream trip. Gets to sit right off the speed, make one run, and make them catch him. I don't think they do it. I almost put the 3 as my best bet at 5-1. Papa Dude, who do you like?
Well, you guys are sounding really confident in this because I looked at this race and I thought this was the hardest damn thing I've ever seen in my life. She only gave me 5 minutes to look at it. But so I do have that horse first. I don't know how, but I do. I thought it was really hard. I kind of like the 11 a little bit, Fire and Spice as well. Last 5 starts have all been kind of at this level and ran pretty well. So I think that one's got a shot. And I like the 1 a little. But I got the 3 on top, so it's unanimous for us today. We'll go with Miss Sakamoto.
I think you're going to see the Miss Exacta. Miss Domina on the rail, I think, is the horse that's going to run second. That was the other one that I looked at here. And like Fire and Spice, not bad either. The 11 post is tough, though. I mean, obviously, I think we're moving in 3 posts there because of the scratches, but still hard to beat on the outside, going 5 furlongs at Gulfstream Park. Aaron, who'd you have in the second and third spot here?
Look out for the 6, Frozen Solid. I think this horse should not be 15-1. And that's why, listen, no, the horse ran very well off of a layoff, showed great improvement from 3 to 4. Now we're second off the layoff. We had a really nice maiden win. I think this horse is gonna maybe be a factor here at 15-1. I would take a deep look at this 6, Somich.
That's a very good tournament horse, Aaron. Brian Lynch, 23% when he's won his last start with a $2.59 ROI. So his horses come back and fire well. I don't think we're getting 15-1. I think that's going to be more of that 8 to 9-1 range, somewhere in there, but still a very good tournament horse if you want to do that. The off odds are going to be really interesting here because I bet our 5-1 looks more like 2-1 when they actually break from the gate on the 3. I think you're going to see a lot of money coming that way. But the 6, I do think, is a live long shot as well if you're looking for a little bit bigger of a price. All right, let's go into the best bets here. I'll kick it off because I want to get Papa Dude's opinion. Give me Tennessee. I'm going to lay the 3 against number 1 Alabama. Tennessee playing at home. Alabama newly minted as the number 1 team. I think Tennessee comes out absolutely firing. We've talked about this trend on the show before. When the lower ranked team is laying the points, they're clicking off at over 60% so far this year. I'm going to lay the 3 with Tennessee, who I think is going to pull the upset tonight against number 1 Alabama. Papa Dude, am I right or wrong?
Well, I looked at this one, and I played both sides of it. I see your angle. I like it. Alabama's not used to being number 1. What did I read? First time since 1990-something they've been number 1, I think.
Almost 22 years, 25 years, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. That's a great angle to play. Dr. Tang is all over Tennessee. The only problem is Tennessee's not playing real well, and they have trouble scoring, which Alabama doesn't. So it's going to be, the key's going to be, can Tennessee slow them down? I think I kind of like your thinking. I was going to go with Alabama. I've went round and round. The more I think about it, I think it's an ambush city tonight in Knoxville.
Gonna storm the court, baby. Give me that W by at least 5. I don't want to even have to sweat that 4. Give me at least 5 here. Creighton, I'm looking at you, Dick. All right, Papa Dude, you're headed to the college hardware as well. Who you got?
Yeah, Dr. Tang and I kind of conferred on this a little bit. This was my best bet anyway. Florida State's at Clemson. Florida State's record is misleading. They're 8-18. That is awful, but they have won 6 games in the ACC, and they play everybody close. Clemson has burned me a couple of times. They're probably going to do it again tonight. They're up and down. don't think they're very good. I just think this is going to be close. I think Clemson's going to win, but 10 is too many. So I'm going to go with the Seminoles plus 10 in Clemson tonight.
Papa Dude has been streaking. What did you go last week in the best bets here? 5-0 or 4-1?
4-1. I always miss on Wednesday, so
we always suck on Wednesdays. Yeah,
we don't start out very well. We're closers. You get this. My same tournament strategy here is led over to this show for some reason. All right, well, we're gonna get it off hot today. We're gonna go 3-0. Aaron, tell us about the third winner.
That's not it.
Oh. You're right.
Well, I like that one, but they're not playing tonight.
We didn't update Aaron. All right, Aaron, tell us about the Wild and the Avs and why they're going over 6.
I'm like, is it Sunday again? Is it?
I like the other one better.
That was all right, I'm going to go over the 6 goals for the Wild and the Avs tonight. Listen, here's the deal. The Avalanche played last night, and they played their hearts out. It was a great game. The Avalanche in Tampa. The Avalanche lose, kind of a heartbreaking game. They played their number 1 goalie. So we got the backup goalie tonight. I don't think the Avs will be quite as sharp. Minnesota's been in a scoring slump, but they should not be. They've got studs. They're going to score some goals tonight on this backup goaltender. Usually a back-to-back, that second night of a back-to-back, you get a little bit sloppy and you see some goals scored on you. So I think Minnesota will score enough to get over this a total of 6. I also think the Avalanche will fight back. This is a huge game, guys, and I think it's going to be kind of a high-scoring back-and-forth game. So I'm going to go over that 6. I love that it's not 6.5 because, you're protected. If this game ends up 4-2, well, it's a push. So I thought that was interesting. It's the only game tonight that's not 6.5. So listen, I think it's going over tonight. Colorado, Minnesota over that 6 goal total.
Kind of like the Wild here. They're at home. Avs traveling after playing in Colorado. Minus 135 on the Wild. I agree with the over as well. I think you're going to see going over the total, but you're going to get the number 1 goalie from the Wild, the backup from the Avs with the travel. I think minus 135 is not a bad price.
Yeah, I agree. I think Minnesota is sitting there laying for them tonight. Minnesota and Florida played a fantastic game 2 nights ago. Heartbreaker for Minnesota. Bobrovsky played unbelievable, but they got the night off, and now they've got Colorado coming in. So tough back-to-back games. And by the way, Florida left it all on the ice in Minnesota 2 nights ago because they were awful last night.
I thought you were going to say they left it all on the ice last night.
Oh, no, they brought nothing to the ice last night. They
left it all in the locker room last night. That was an absolute stinker from the Panthers.
Horrible game. But it shows you that was a tough game. But then the Wild have the night off. Colorado played a tough game last night. And now they got to go right to Minnesota. So, again, it leans to what you're saying. Yeah, I like Minnesota, and I like the over because I think it'll kind of be a sloppy game from Colorado tonight.
All right, so let's recap the best bets real quick and sign off here. We'll join you again tomorrow, same time, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Aaron going with Avs Wild. It's right on the screen there, over 6. Papa Dude taking Florida State plus 10, trying to go for 5 in a row on the best bets. I'm going to take Tennessee minus 3. Last week, 13-15, down $51 with a very good Sunday. Could have been an exceptional one. Still a very good Sunday. For the year, up $287. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Good luck with all your bets.